Did I give an antique store way too much money for these things, or did I get a good deal? Follow along and let's find out. I was out vintage store shopping and I ran into these Lionel 027 and some American Flyer S-gauge trains. I figured, I need these. For one, they're right here in town. I don't have to pay for shipping and they won't get damaged on the way home. Two, my channel's not called Classic HO model trains, it's called Classic Model Trains. So I need to showcase all gauges of classic model trains. So that's why I decided to go ahead and pick these up and bring them home. After looking at these in the vintage store for a couple days, I finally decided to take the plunge, head on down there, laid my hard-earned money down, and brought these things home. And I oogled them, fondled them, stared, played with, I looked at them, I rearranged them, I just, for a long time. And I decided, well, I need to make a video of these. How am I going to make a video of these? Well, let's make a video about how much I did or didn't get a good deal on them. I researched each individual item, locomotive, car, accessory, on eBay's sold category to see what they've sold for in the last 60 or 90 days. I took an average of them of the same condition. Now, of course, I'm not looking at parts locomotives and I've got one that runs or maybe runs, I don't know. You know, but if they're completely cherry, brand new in the box, of course that doesn't count because that's not what these are. I added them all up, added the prices, divided by the number of units that I took the examples from, and came up with an average price of sold items on eBay to give me an idea if I'm in the right ballpark or not. Let's take a quick gander at all these cars here, see how well I did. And for you sharp-witted fellers out there that kind of know the prices of these things, when the image comes up on the screen, you're going to have about 4 or 5 seconds before the price actually shows up and the year that it was made. So you can play a little game show with yourself and decide if you know the year that it came out and if you think you know the going rate for them right now. Let's get started with this Lionel 8142 Atlantic steamer, Chesapeake in Ohio. Nice looking little steam locomotive here. 027. The next one in this lot is this Lionel 1400 Atlantic steamer, Delaware and Hudson. Then I found this Marx 242. Unfortunately, it's been repainted. Somebody just spray painted it, and they even did it with a gloss black, which is unfortunate. And then, of course, left this tender alone till it's Marx because of the way that this coupler is. And this one's seen some better days. One of the more interesting finds was this 1956 Lionel 520 box cab. It needs a couple screws on it. This one screw holds this motor in. It was kind of in pieces at the bottom of the box. They didn't make these for very many years, and I need another screw to hold the body on. But this is kind of an interesting little piece. Getting into the rolling stock, this is a Hoboken Shore Railroad 1029 boxcar. Looks like it was from 1998. This Delaware and Hudson bulkhead flat car, also from 1998. And then, of course, this C&O caboose. This Burlington Northern gondola, build date on it of 1970. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe flat car. Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia two-bay hopper, built 1971. This Ford Motorcraft Autolite spark plug boxcar. Then this Delaware and Hudson caboose, non-lighted. Ooh, does have couplers at both ends. Bonus. It's kind of nice, these 027s, at least the chimney doesn't get broken off every time you receive a used one. I'd spent a lot of hours digging online trying to find where to get good information at for Lionel and American Flyer stuff. I'll share those websites with you at the end of this video. Come to find out that the Lionel stuff that I've just showed you, they are actually from train sets. The first one was released in 1971. It's called the Allegheny. That locomotive features the mighty sound of steam. It's got a speaker in the tender, Got some little wires in there, and it makes kind of a white noise. The second set is a 1998 release called the Delaware and Hudson. That marketing department, they really went overtime on naming that set, let me tell you what. It appears this set is a really entry-level set for Lionel in their 1998 offerings. I believe this next stuff here is the post-war stuff, the goody-goody stuff, the stuff that a lot of people like more. Let's get into that. Found this Baltimore, Ohio, time saver boxcar. This one goes back to the pre-war actual Lionel era. So these ones are the more sought-after boxcars. When I did an eBay search on the ones that sold on these, this particular car is sold for up to $160, of course with a brand new looking box, you know, no scuff marks, no nothing. And then of course the cheapest one that's ever sold on it was $7.18. I just put down the average price that I found on these things. Usually without a box they go for about 25 to 40 bucks. And if you have the original box with them, they can go for up to $75 is the average price on these. This Gulf 3-dome tanker car. The most expensive one I found sold for $109.50. And the cheapest one sold for $15. But of course, you know, condition, and you gotta have that box. Don't throw them boxes away, fellers. You gotta keep these. I believe this was in 1958 is when this car came out. It's Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe hopper right here. Highest one that's ever sold, $60 in the last 6 months on the bay. The lowest they've ever gone for, $3. So not a huge car. Still a pre-war era car made by Lionel in New York. It's only got one coupler that functions, the other one don't. This Missouri and St. Louis caboose. It's missing its chimney stack. It's only got one coupler that functions on it. Wow, they really went all out on these. Non-lighted. Most of these are in the $15 to $25 range. The most expensive one ever sold for $89.95. And of course the cheapest one ever sold was $1.25 from my researching on the eBay. There was some parts stuff in there also. These cars here, this one is just a completely generic. It doesn't even have any road names that you can ever see on it. Non-operating coupler. I couldn't find any information out about these. This one here is a respray. I can see 6057 right there. Heat stamped in. Somebody sanded off the road name on it. This one did say Lionel Lions right there. So this one's a little older truck. Probably a little better quality. Did get me one of these fancy ZF transformers here. Run 4 trains at one time with them. My goodness. Talk about a lot of stuff on there. Did end up with a little bit of damage back in this area right here. This is made out of Bakelite. I've read that you can glue Bakelite with CA glue. So maybe I'll have a repair video repairing this broken thing and see what will glue Bakelite. But other than that, a little cleaning up, be a nice little transformer for a vintage store find. Did you guys know that your dog could come in from outside and start wiping its head and face on your carpet and on your furniture before you get a chance to realize that it's wiping off the skunk spray that it just got? Yeah, I found that out. Bad dog. Jumping into the American Flyer line, S-gauge. It's a 300 AC Atlantic locomotive. I think that's a tin plate tender. Yeah, it sure is, actually. Wow. That's kind of neat. This next one is a 303. Its tender is a plastic molded, but this is cast boiler. These are smoking units. I can see the smoking unit right up in there. And there was also another one of 307, which looks to be very, very similar. 3 wires coming up from the tender. So they've got the, well, maybe that's a whistle tender. I don't know. I have to do some researching on them. I know there's probably a reversing solenoid back in here. These American Flyers, they don't seem to have a lot of resale on them. If a guy ever wanted to collect them, boy, you could sure collect a lot without costing a lot of money. Jumping into some American Flyer passenger cars. This one here's a baggage car, 951. It is unlighted currently. This was released in 1954. I've seen these in green. I've also seen these in red. This American Flyers 953, Niagara Falls. It does appear to be lighted, or some sort of haphazard lighted attempt has been made here. This is a heavy because it's got 3 axles per truck instead of only 2. This one commands a little bit more money. It's worth a little more. This New Haven 650. Now this one is properly lighted. It looks like it's got the correct stuff there. These couplers are all a little bit different. Looks like American Flyer liked making different couplers throughout their time. Hopefully I've got an insert here of the different couplers I found for American Flyers. And this Reading 630 lighted caboose. Lighted properly. It's got these silly kind of couplers on it right there. Well, I think I did okay on track here. I had to clean it all up and organize it a little bit just to see what I got, but there's enough here to build a small empire, I believe. Plus I got some of these cool broken electronic uncouplers, crossy thing, switches with no relays on them. So I'll put these at the back of the layout so it's hard to reach them. So I don't want to have to look at that nastiness being missing there. Well, sure. Some rights and some lefts. Enough to build a little yard. Looks like a substantial amount of S-gauge track. Takes quite a bit of this stuff to make a turn. It's got like a 36-inch radius on it. My goodness. And I believe these are all track to straight track. Yeah. Curved track. Sure. These boxes are neat. Of course, then there's always the scrapings at the bottom of the box. I know this guy here, he's kind of fancy, but it's O-scale instead of O27. This guy's huge. Absolutely huge. Somebody had custom built a new roof for it out of hot glue and cardboard. Oh, that's too bad. Here's a broken transformer. All the broken stuff, which is something that I completely enjoy because I like to fix them. Lionel motors. That looks like a whistle out of something. Activate, well, you know, things that do stuff. Lionel logs. Yeah, these are the real treasures here that you find at the bottom of the box. Look at that guy. Cast iron businessman walking around. Interesting. Sides of these armatures. Man, oh man, you can almost rewind those by hand if you needed to. Well, coming up with all these averages on all this stuff that I've got there, you know, average prices, average, I think I almost tripled my money on this purchase. So there's a huge benefit. Now I just got to get myself a test track built somewhere that I can run these back and forth a little bit after I do the repair and restoration to them. Show you guys some cool stuff on how to work on these things. These really cool websites that I found, a lot of great information. Looks like the first one is called TandemAssociates.com. They have got an amazing references for all post-war Lionel stuff. Post-war is 1969 and back to 45? 45? 47. 48. I know when it started, not sure when it ended. For the American Flyer stuff, the GilbertGallery.org, amazing references there, all kinds of great information, and RFGCO.com. I think if I double down on my panhandling efforts, get myself saved up $1,100, I can go back to that vintage store and I can buy this here 1950 Lionel O-gauge Hudson release, sitting up there looking gorgeous. It's only $1,100, fellers. Come on, that's a lot more than what it went for initially. So look, it's appreciating in value. Better, well, not as good as real estate, but better than other things. So thanks so much for watching my episode. Once again, I appreciate all your support.